Hey there, Nancy here, and welcome back to another episode of Entrepreneur Rescue Mission. Today's topic is actually helpful, I think, not just for health insurance brokers, but also to anyone who is professionally looking to build, grow, and scale their business and looking for more techniques how to use LinkedIn to really do that and really up level what they're doing on LinkedIn to have more success. So, first, want to kind of kick it off with a little statistic. I believe this is, I think, from Omnichannel. But anyway, did you know that 62% of all LinkedIn users are actually scrolling through their feeds each and every day? Well, that's pretty awesome, right? That means that they have the potential to see your posts and you have the ability to really stand out and, build a solid reputation and create that brand awareness using LinkedIn. And so it means people are using it. People are, getting their information and it's their primary source to do that. So I want to give you a few different tips how we can use LinkedIn, not just for job hunting and, recruiting, things like that, but also how you can use it as a health insurance broker, a coach, a consultant, someone to look, who's really looking to put themselves out there. Really, LinkedIn can be such a gold mine for connecting with different companies, B2B, B2C, and all things in between. So, it's really, really an awesome platform to do all of that. And it's a great place to build your personal brand. In fact, every personal brand expert that I've spoken to, that I've researched, as I was writing my book, How to Build Your Personal Brand on Social Media, every single one of them said, guys, if you're building your personal brand, you have to have a presence on LinkedIn, right? It's the number one easiest way to really showcase your skills and abilities. Share a little bit about you, what you do, and how you help people. And it has such a perfect setup to be able to do that. So I'll be sharing, okay, so if you stick around, obviously to the end of this, I'll be sharing a few different tips, specifically what you can do to really set yourself apart, right? Because there are a lot of people, and obviously LinkedIn is continuously growing, the amount of connections and people that it has on the platform, but we want to be able to stand out. So I'm going to dig into a couple different ways which can help you stand out. So I'm going to start with number one. Okay. And I've got a little visual here for you. So point number one is let's take a look at your profile. Okay. We really want to make your profile pop and stand out from the rest. So you want to start with a profile picture that's professional. Guys, it does not have to be professionally taken. I mean, you're just obviously representing yourself professionally. You don't want to be like in a tank top and flip flops unless, I don't know, you're a surf instructor. But you want to obviously present yourself in the way that you want to work with clients. You want to be authentic and real. But you don't need to have this professionally done. You simply use your phone to just basically take a selfie, right, picture of you for your profile. Next up, you want to focus on your banner image, right? The image that's behind your picture. I really love when people show a little personality or even show them in action as a visual. So, for example, I worked with a therapist, and she actually did. She had a couple of her team members actually pose, as a couple sitting on a couch, and it was her sitting across, and she was talking to them, and it was such a cool visual to show and help people connect, what it is that she does. But you want to, again, show a little personality. Choose a photo that, reflects your professionalism, but also kind of shows what you do. The next thing in your profile is going to be your headline. And I see a lot of people make some mistakes here where they use it as a place to kind of put their kind of like I guess like a business statement where it's like, I am da 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 da, and I like helping people, blah, 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 and it kind of like doesn't really have a lot of like SEO optimized like search terms in there. So what I really want you guys focusing on in your headline is thinking about different things that people are searching for to find you. So for example, if you are a health insurance broker, that should be in there, right? So health insurance broker, and you can put a little line to separate. Let's say you specialize in helping, with Medicare. So it could be Medicare specialist, and then maybe a little line, and then it says like group benefits advisor. something like that. And again, you can, if you're a health insurance broker, which I do suggest, you really hone in and focus on the type of people that you want to attract. So, for example, if you're a health insurance broker working for an agency and you really want to work with larger companies that have a certain amount of employees, maybe it's a certain industry, which is even better, right? Because that allows you to be a little bit more niche and really focus on that in your communication. So what you can do is you can put specific things like, health insurance broker, specializing in working with manufacturing companies, something like that, right? Where again, you're connecting with these people and they're going to go, oh, they know my business, they know me. So, this one's huge. Again, from a search engine optimization standpoint, people can type certain things in and you want to be able to come up. Now, the other tip there is if you are location specific, meaning you're only working in certain states or, you particularly work with, certain companies in a certain area, make sure to put location specific keywords in there as well. Working in the Atlanta, Georgia area or working in, the Sarasota, Florida area, whatever it might be. But you can specifically put that because again, it's going to help target clients more locally. Okay. So we want to make it easier for clients to search and find you. So those are just a few tips for making your profile pop. Okay. So the next thing that I'm going to dig into is creating engaging content that stands out. Okay, so this is a big one. I'm just kind of looking at my notes here. This is a big one that I get all the time. What should I be posting? What are the certain things that I should be, creating as far as content? Well, you want to create content that helps you build the familiarity, right? The know, like, and trust with others. You want to showcase yourself as an expert, right? So that you know what you're talking about. So anything that can really show potential clients how you can help them, showcase your expertise, share real stories, help them get to know you and build your brand awareness a little bit more. That's going to be good content. Okay. And so I follow, in fact, what my husband, who LinkedIn expert, right, Scott Aaron, he typically tells people like do at least 3 posts a week in your content. One could be a video, right? And that video could be very short, guys. It's just sharing like a tip or something educational or a thought or, something that obviously people are interested in. So it could be one video a week. And then a newsletter, right, which could be themed around the same topic of that video. So, for example, you could, in your video, you could have done 3 tips how to, educate your employees on, health insurance benefits or an agenda for HRs during open enrollment, whatever the topic might be. Well, you could do the newsletter that literally could be a transcribed version of that video, or it could be like a nice little blog post that you've already prepared beforehand on that very same topic, right? People look at things differently, they digest content differently, but don't want you guys to overthink and think, oh my gosh, I'm repeating the same thing over and over again. You could talk about the same topic for the entire month, and there's still going to be people who aren't going to say it. So don't stress too much on having the same topic, kind of flood into the rest of the content for the week. So the third type of posting, right? We've got our video, we've got our newsletter, and then we've got our third one, which typically Scott does recommend that you do a poll. In fact, poll questions work really well when you post them in groups. For example, if you're part of an HR community, you could ask a question like, as an HR, what is the hardest thing about open enrollment with your employees? And you could put a few different, questions, and then people engage. Scott's actually had a couple of his polls almost go viral, right? With thousands and thousands of impressions and people clicking and liking and loving and all that stuff and sharing input. And polls really create engagement, which allows you to open the door, right, and have conversations with people on a deeper level to really do so much. So I would say, polls, your newsletter, which again, it's another fancy word for articles on LinkedIn, and then your video. So the next tip that I'm going to share is building connections on LinkedIn, not just collecting connections and growing and, just adding people, right? We want to actually meet people. We want to make friends, right? In fact, I remember we interviewed a content expert and, a marketer for a Fortune 50 company. And he said, if you're not making friends on LinkedIn, you're doing it wrong, right? So we've got to not be afraid of actually making real connections. Gone are the days when cold calling worked really well. It just doesn't, guys, anymore. So we want to build that real connection and we want to be top of mind when people have a need, right? That you can solve. So there's so many mistakes that I see that where people are, using bots and trying to do all this automation and trying to outsource themselves when I'm sorry, guys, like what's the whole point, right? If we're generating leads and we know you can only connect with so many people each day on LinkedIn, right? We know that we can only add so many people to our network. We can only send so many messages each day. So it's a small chunk. We know this, or you get blocked. So why would you, number one, risk putting an AI bot in there that could potentially block your account, right? Because LinkedIn specifically says that you're not allowed to have these third-party scrapers and apps and things like that, right? Or they will shut down your account. So you risk your account being shut down. Number two, it's not that many conversations that you can even reach out and have. But let's say if you're replacing yourself with a bot, you're going to be disconnected from that conversation, even if it's sending the greatest messages, exactly what you would send. You're going to kind of be disconnected from that conversation. And again, it's going to be way more authentic if it's you saying, hey, I would love to jump on a call and just see how we can support each other on LinkedIn. Again, you jump on the call, you let them tell their story, share a little bit about what they do, you share a little bit about what you do, and you say, great, well, if you have anyone who needs XYZ, or, if there's anyone, I can connect you with, let me know who you're looking for. But again, forming those partnerships and those connections, guys, meeting one person in your business, and I'll just give you an example in just a second, can change your business. With my agency, right? So I run BYB Agency, where we do mostly content for health insurance brokers, nonprofits, personal brands. And what we do is, we take content that's already been created and we repurpose it and we schedule it across all different platforms, right? So it's your authentic, real content. And then we break it apart and then we actually schedule it all over the place, focusing on LinkedIn. And it also includes video. So here's the thing, when I started connecting on LinkedIn, I connected with one PR firm, for example, that said, oh my goodness, Nancy, if you want to open the floodgate, I've got tons of connections, in the nonprofit space, for example. They need you for content all day long, right? If you could just create a framework or a system to help them. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I do. So that person was like, great, when you're ready, let me know, reach back out. And I have so many clients I could send you. Guys, that's one connection I made that can literally change my business, just depending when I want to turn the water hose, on or off. So if you really, really want to build and grow your business on LinkedIn, you want to learn how to create more content. If you do need support, well, number one, make sure to hit like or subscribe on these videos so you can kind of follow along. We do a lot of talks about LinkedIn, a lot of talks about growing your personal brand, building your presence on, really all the social media channels. But definitely please follow us. But also you can visit my website at bybagency.com. And you can check out, we have different services that we can offer, such as strategy calls and monthly repurposing. So take a look. Again, that's bybagency.com. And really appreciate you watching and stay